400 floor. We'll bring the store to your door.
Nexium 24-hour prevents heartburn acid for twice as long as Pepcid. Get all day and all night heartburn acid prevention with just 1 pill a day. Choose acid prevention. Choose Nexium.
Live, no wait, weather and traffic on CW39 Houston.
All right, good Monday morning, everybody. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we'll get more into that here in just a minute. We have a great special that's happening later on tonight. But first, we have to talk about the big headline for today, winter weather. Oh, my goodness. You two are meteorologists in charge here. There's freezing rain on the radar.
Yeah, there is, and we're seeing some road problems, elevated roads. Kerrigan's been pointing those out, mostly north and west of Houston. Then maybe that changes, gets a little closer to the city later on, though.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Unfortunately, they're getting closer and closer into town. A lot of us are kind of watching it and hear like the Jaws music playing in the distance as it gets closer. 45 North Freeway at 105, though, that camera is really showing what conditions are like out there on the outskirts of town, where temperatures are below freezing, and we also have those elevated surfaces. You can see that white on the side of your roadways there, as any type of moisture will be freezing over that light drizzle that we saw earlier on our camera is frozen onto the lens, and we had an accident was reported in this part of town that has cleared. Cars are still getting around okay, but it's the overpasses, the bridges that you want to avoid if you can. If you can go ahead and stay on the frontage road every time you get in close to a bridge or an overpass, do that instead, as the ground itself will act as insulation to the roadway, preventing early freezing.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of ice right there at the top corner of that lens right there. All right, so definitely want to slow down, everybody. Take it easy on the bridges and overpasses, but we also want to dress in layers. Adam, too cold outside.
Yeah, and the coldest will be settling in tonight. So what we're seeing today, though, is more of a wintry precip kind of threat. Now, I will say not every freezing rain event is equal. Sometimes we have major shut down the city types of things. That's not this case. A lot of people will be okay to safely drive around today, but be extra cautious on the elevated roads, bridges, overpasses, things of that nature, where very light glazing of ice can occur. If it was more serious, we would see a winter storm warning as opposed to a winter weather advisory. Now, squeezed in on the top banner right there, notice it says until 6 p.m. because we expect the precip to actually end this evening. It's going to get colder at the same time, but the precip will end at that point. And then from there, once we get into tonight, we're done worrying about any falling ice or sleet or anything like that. Then we're just concerned with cold, dry weather. We've got a hard freeze that takes over much of Houston tonight, lasts through Wednesday morning. The hard freeze warning, that is, lasts until Wednesday morning. There's a look at temperatures right now. We continue with the coldest to the west and north, where there's some 20s. Not quite as cold, but still cold everywhere else. A little above freezing close to the bay and the coast right now. On radar, again, we've got just little batches of light freezing rain passing through. That's in pink. And then it's sleet, which is more like ice pellets coming down in purple. That's way off to the west and northwest, where there's a deeper layer of cold air. Now, our temperatures today going to hold steady through much of the day and then falling big time tonight. We'll take a look at that part of our forecast in a few minutes.
All right, I'll go through a couple of spots that are seeing that ice recorded on the roadway. Back to 45 North Freeway near Willis, Panorama Village. Both north and southbound lanes of 45 are moving slow because of the weather conditions. Also, ice reports being seen on 290. This location near Hempstead. This is our newest report. Both east and westbound lanes are moving very slow, where that area of moisture, that freezing rain, just crossed over the main lanes of the roadway. Please drive with caution. Near College Station, Texas Avenue reported north and southbound lanes have ice on them, so be careful if you're traveling near College Station. And Bryan this morning out towards Brenham, 290. Once again, patches of ice and snow. Travel is discouraged for 290's lanes near Brenham and going closer into New Waverly now. This is our first report of the morning, and it's still standing. I-45 bridges and overpasses being seen with ice and snow. Over to you.
And we continue our winter weather coverage with ways to keep you and your family safe. Now, Houston, Harris County, they are going to be opening up 12 warming centers across the area. Some of them actually opened last night. Now the rest are going to be opening later today. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map now. There are locations around the area where you will see these warming centers opening today at 8 p.m. The good news is all of these City of Houston facilities, they will be accepting pets. Now, for those who do not have a right to any of these warming centers, please call 311. The city is offering rides to these locations, but you have to call first to arrange the ride. Call 311. Also call that number for the addresses of the warming center locations near you. And with the hard freeze, the Public Utility Commission of Texas is repeating and encouraging the public to follow ERCOT's request to conserve electricity use if it is safe to do so. ERCOT is asking Texans to conserve power from now until 10 a.m. because of the freezing temperatures, very high demand, and unseasonably low wind. Operating reserves for the Texas grid are expected to be low this morning and tomorrow. I just checked in on the dashboard for ERCOT. Right now they're in the yellow, which means conservation, and it looks like the demand and also the usage, an expected demand and the usage are still kind of far apart. So that's good. Now, ERCOT says they're not experiencing emergency conditions, but they will remain vigilant and communicate any emergency operations if necessary. To stay up to date on weather conditions and grid operations, head on over to our website, CW39.com. Meanwhile, CenterPoint customers, here is a live look at your outage tracker. Earlier this morning, we were just about to 6,600. Now we're about 5,100. We will continue to monitor any outages in our area, but so far we haven't heard of any widespread outages because of the weather coming into the newsroom, and we hope it stays that way. Meanwhile, here are some tips you need to be paying attention to in order to stay warm, but also stay safe as you're trying to warm yourselves up. Never bring generators indoors. Do not use a stove for heat. Keep all heat sources at least 3 feet away from flammable objects. Avoid opening doors and windows. That way you can keep the warm air in. Also, if you want to keep the warm air inside your home, stuff towels or rags in the cracks under doors and cover windows with blankets. All right, meanwhile, in Central Texas, they have a winter storm warning this morning. Well, these are photos from outside the Austin airport overnight. You can see the wintry mix of sleet and flurries. They're also much, much colder than we are right now. So, Adam, wow. Just looking at the temperatures in Central Texas to here, I really hope it doesn't get that bad.
Yeah, I mean, generally colder farther west and north of Houston, and there was quite an interesting difference in temperatures yesterday. At one point, Houston was in the 40s, Austin was in the 20s yesterday, like middle of the day, and now that colder air is nudging into our area, and of course, we also have some of this wintry precipitation drifting through as well. Now, we know it's cold enough in Houston where anything that falls as liquid could turn into ice, especially on some of the elevated roads and bridges. We haven't received, as far as we know, any significant ice reports on any Houston area roads, but we're getting those reports on some of our far north and western areas. So radar on pink here is showing where freezing rain, again, that's where it falls as liquid, turns into more of like a glaze of ice once it lands. That's in pink. Now, in purple, there's a deeper layer of cold air, which means it's already frozen before it gets to the ground. That would be some sleet or like ice pellets, maybe even a couple snowflakes not far from Columbus right now. This pattern is going to hold through the day today, where just little periods of off and on light freezing rain as possible. The precip should end this evening, and at the same time, temperatures will start getting colder later on tonight. So again, just off and on with this light freezing rain through the day today. Here we go into 6 p.m. Notice the clearing in the clouds. We've got drier air punching in from the north, along with even stronger winds out of the north by tomorrow morning. And this is when the really, really cold air will arrive. Some teens and low 20s for low temperatures by tomorrow morning. Here's what we see right now, though. It's already freezing in Houston, and again, it's just colder the farther west and north you live. A little milder closer to the bay and the coast right now, where it's a little above freezing. Our model is going to show through the day today that temperatures pretty much hold steady. That's a look at 4 p.m., keeping most of the area at or even a little below freezing as we continue into tomorrow morning. Again, this is when we are definitely in hard freeze territory. Teens to the north, low 20s to near 20 around Houston, mid 20s down towards the coast. Tomorrow morning, the wind chill is going to be dangerously low, maybe below 10 for parts of Houston, and even single digits you see west and north of our area. So again, the wind and the coldest temperatures, that's coming tomorrow morning. Now tomorrow afternoon, no precip, sun is out, and we get a little above freezing during the day, back to a hard freeze with dry weather into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning.
All right, guys. guys, some really cool things that I want to show you on our 45 North Freeway camera. The freezing rain that's been experienced in this part of town is growing in size on the roadway. So as those drops are falling, they're making contact with whatever is there. So this is being the overpass, and it's going to freeze on contact, and these droplets are going to form and grow larger in size as they are getting kind of clumped together here on the side of the road. You can see that freezing precipitation is developing on the main lanes here for this overpass. Also on the lanes itself, as these cars are passing over, you can see a very wispy haze type of situation. That's some small little ice crystals that's getting spun up by the wheels of the cars on the overpass. So it won't be much longer before this starts inching closer and closer into the main lanes, and that could cause for some slick spots. We also do have our camera lens getting impacted by some of those freezing water droplets. It's going to be situations like that that we have to look for in closer to town moving forward this morning. As we continue to see these little bands of moisture passing on through, it will cause for those slick conditions. Once again, going over a few ice reports that we are seeing. Our newest one coming through from Hempstead 290. Take it easy out there for those bridges and overpasses. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Kerrigan, for keeping an eye and keeping us safe out there on the roadways. Well, now let's go ahead and check in with our CW39 Houston's Carol Willis. She's actually outside braving the winter weather for us, because earlier this morning we were planning on covering the MLK Grand Parade, but now that has been postponed. So, Kara, give us a little more details on, do you know yet of when it's going to happen?
Well, Ito, you are absolutely right. I'm definitely braving the weather this morning. It is a huge slap in your face every time I get out of the heat in the car. I'm here with Tony De Leon right now. We're here at San Jacinto Street, and he is going to talk to us all things parade, why it was canceled, why it was the best decision this morning. What do you have to say to us, Tony?
Well, we hate the fact that it was canceled because, you know, and we know a lot of students, parents, dance teams, marching bands did a lot of hard work and practice to get to this point. And so we had to cancel it, but for the safety of everyone, we felt the best interest of safety to cancel the parade.
Absolutely. And I mean, and who do we have out here right now? I mean, we were here earlier, Ito, to like get everyone together and get set up, and, you know, Seth and I were ready. But I mean, Tony, like, we still have a few folks out here right now.
Well, we do have a couple of people. We have a team that's smoking some meat out here. They were ready. They were ready. And we've had a lot several participants come to us, say, hey, is the parade going on? But unfortunately, we had to tell them that no, it was canceled.
I know. I think it was the best decision to keep everyone safe out there. I mean, if you don't have to be out on the roads, I did speak to the Harris County Emergency Management PIO this morning, and he says if you don't have to go anywhere, don't. It's a holiday. Yes, we wanted to celebrate the MLK Day Parade, but if you can stay indoors, that's probably the best decision. They also told me that most of the schools are out today because of the weather, so if you can stay indoors, that is the best bet. You can see, I'll have Andy turn around to show you guys the streets right now. Cars are still out and about like business as usual. They're still driving at a normal speed, but if you are out on the roads right now, please just slow it down and think of your safety. TxDOT has also been putting up signs. You may have noticed them on the freeways that if you can keep some distance between you and those cars, definitely do that. You don't want to accidentally, you know, push on your brakes and then something happen and you run into anyone. So safety is key here. And again, we were here and ready, Tony.
We're here. We're
excited.
Ready. We're ready to rock and roll, but now all we got to say now is go Texans.
Go Texans. And you see, he was ready. He was ready. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to send it back over to you. We'll have more updates on weather and let you know what you can expect for the rest of the morning coming up.
Yeah, well, yeah, good thing that the schools are closed today because it is a holiday. And thank you for reiterating that we need to be safe, especially over those bridges and overpasses. Meanwhile, Kara, get in a car and get warm, please. All right, well, unfortunately, as Kara said, the MLK Grand Parade did have to be postponed today because of the very, very cold weather and also because of the potential of some light freezing drizzle. Well, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we thought we would still go ahead and tell you about this wonderful half-hour special that we have coming up. The granddaughter of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She is going to continue on the torch and continue living his legacy. We do have that half-hour special called called A Granddaughter's Dream on MLK Jr. tonight at 6:30 p.m. And here is a sneak peek.
She's the only grandchild of Martin Luther King Jr. And just like her grandfather, Yolanda Renee King believes in the power of a dream.
We keep your dream alive by planting our dreams.
See her inspiring tribute to her grandfather and her determination to reawaken his legacy for a new generation.
The torch has been passed to me.
A granddaughter's dream.
All right, Granddaughter's Dream happening tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here on CW39 Houston. Let's go outside now and take a live look at the Houston Galleria cam. It is a chilly day outside, everybody. Please, if you have to be outside, dress in layers just as you saw Kara do. You're watching CW39 Houston. No wait, weather and traffic.
Settle in for the best laughs on TV.
This is how I feel. That is so going on the refrigerator.
Weeknights at 11 and 11:30 on CW39 Houston.
There's a